I was talking to a guy today with two lazy eyes. Two. Okay? That is the most you can have. Okay, one of his eyes, his right eye was looking down, and his left eye was looking like up and to the left. You know what I mean? It took me a second to actually figure out what was happening. All right. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but this dude could text and drive. All right. This shit was insane. Like I probably talked to him for like 15 minutes and I didn't even want to, but part of the reason was just because I was like intrigued. You know, I'm like, how do you go about your day, you know, when your left eye is trying to get food stamps and your right eye is on a boat that's not even his? That's how damn lazy your eyes are, sir. Oh my God. This dude got in a car and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. But it is Florida. They're just handing out licenses. Florida and Arizona. Arizona, dude, I have an Arizona license that doesn't expire till like 2070. They just say, fuck it. One time and you're good. It is insane. No wonder everyone out there's on a BMX bike doing meth because they lost their license. They're like, well, maybe we probably shouldn't give everyone one. But I guess the state's poor. They just need the money. Anyway, we're here, dude. I hope you're watching the YouTube right now because I look fresh. Let me put this on airplane mode. All right, we're back. Someone texted me, messed up the video. Messed up the video. But yeah, dude, I hope you're watching the YouTube, man. I got my hair cut at Chip's Barber. You guys know Chip, my good friend. He was on an earlier episode. I think it was like episode 4. But yeah, I went to his barber, dude. Straight Mexican barber shop. You know, I'm always skeptical because, you know, it's not like, I don't want the Mexicans cutting my hair. No, it's just that barbers, you know, they do things a little different. Okay. Sometimes I don't like the fade, or, you know, I don't like the hard part where they like shave the part inside of your head. And I got nothing wrong with it, just not for me. And I lived in Brooklyn and I would go to this Dominican shop all the time and they would just hold my hair up. You know, they'd fade the sides and then they'd hold the rest of my hair up and go, I don't know what to do with this, Poppy. And I go, I just dread it. You know, who knows? You know, I need a middle-aged, overweight white woman named Sandra cutting my hair with her son deployed in Iraq. That's who I need cutting my hair. All right? And you're like, wow, that's specific because that's who cut my hair for like 15 years. Okay? Shout out to Sandra if you're listening. But yeah, dude, this dude cut my hair. Chip set me up, bro. He's like, yeah, come through my barber. We'll cut your hair after. So I show up. And Chip's walking to his car. He's like, I got to go. You know, I'm like, oh, I appreciate you hooking me up, man. Thank you. You know, I was looking for a new barber. This guy goes, oh, man. He's like, your boy really did it to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He didn't tip you or whatever? What? Like, that's not like him. What happened? He goes, no, he tipped me. He goes, but he didn't tell me he was bringing a friend. I got to be downtown. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, do you want to cut my hair or I can go to another barber? And he's like, nah, I can knock it out real quick. I go, okay, well, let's not rush. Okay, guy, let's not rush my haircut. All right, this isn't a game show. You know, I'll gladly go to some other guy and then come back to you later. But he's like, no, I got you. He kept checking his phone. You know, that's another thing. There's a lot of like baby mama drama at these shops. So this guy picks up the phone and he's like arguing he's like, nah, I told you I'll be there at 3. He's like, you get the kids. And I'm like, all right, can we cut my hair? You know? And he started rushing towards the end, right when he flipped out the straight razor, and he was flying, right? But I'm like, damn, this, you know, I'm looking fresh right now, you know? And I'm like, he's doing a good job. So maybe he's just fast with the switchblade, you know? Maybe he did time and he's real familiar with these things. But then he nicked my forehead, and damn, I knew he cut me because it was like that burning sensation. I go, oh, he cut me. It's probably not that bad. Then I like see blood, and then he nicked the back of my neck, and I'm like, hey, do I owe you money? Can you fucking stop with the razor? But anyway, dude, then I get home. Nancy's like, oh, I really like your haircut. I'm like, yeah, what about my face cut? Okay, I hope that thing heals. Otherwise, I look like I did time. Yeah, dude. So that's been that. Hope everything's good with you. Had a good weekend, man. I learned a lot Saturday. Did some like side hustle stuff, and then all positive there. And then what else we do? Sunday was good. Went out with Brunch. Yeah, my girl Brunch. That's a horrible name. That sounds like a woman that does roller derby. This is Brunch. She'll lead the way. Nah, man, I'm just feeling good. Yeah, I had brunch with Nance. Went out to a nice spot. And I like going to brunch now because that's actually where I met Nancy in New York. We worked at the same restaurant during the brunch shift with those demons, people showing up there. Now I like going to brunch and just watching the servers get treated like shit going, hey, thank God I no longer have to do this. So that was that. There was a 10 top behind us. Those of you who don't know what that is, that's a table of 10 for you pieces of shit out there that have never waited tables and don't know what it's like. Hey, your extra mustard, not that fucking important. Okay? So anyway, a table of 10 behind us, behind Nancy. I'm watching it the whole time. Nancy's like, why are you looking at me like that? I'm like, I'm not. You should see the animals behind you. So it's the 10 typical, like, they were fresh, not coming from church, whores. But they they all had like, they look good. They had the pastel colors, holding up mimosas, bitch. Yeah, the classic, got to get the boomerang in. And but dude, out of the 10 women, 8 of them were probably some of the largest women, never get that right, that I've ever seen. Okay? Speaking of roller derby. All right. These women you want on your team. Okay? But dude, there was some large, like I'm talking like TLC was about to knock on the door and say, hey, we'd love to have you on My 600-Pound Life. I mean, they were maxing out the chairs, hip to hip, armrest to armrest. Okay, this is how you know it's real bad. One of the woman, yeah, one woman. How about that? There we go. Jesus, Sean. Yeah, I graduated high school. Did 8 weeks in community college. Shout out to State College of Florida. Their mascot's a manatee. That's a great mascot to have, considering the whole school is slow. Doesn't move very fast, both physically and mentally. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, just some big women at this table. And they had a phone fan, one of the fans where you can plug it into the bottom of the phone. And she's like, oh, my phone died. My fan doesn't work. Can I plug my fan into your phone? If you have a portable fan, hey, if you have a portable fan with you at a restaurant, maybe you should get the egg whites, okay? Put down the triple stack BLT. All right. Again, not trying to be a dick, okay? But these women have to take multiple elevators. Okay, if all these ladies went to Cancun on vacation and they're staying at the same resort and they say, "Hey, let's go down to the lobby." They have to wait for separate elevators. Okay? If I got to the 30th floor and they're like, "Hey, are you going down?" And I go, "Yeah," and then I see them start approaching me, I would go, "You know what? This is my stop. I'm going to get off right here." I'll take the next one. You know what? I'll take the stairs because I feel like the elevator is going to be decommissioned after this. So, yeah, that was nice, man. A good weekend. Hope you had a nice one, too. And, yeah, dude, if TLC knocks on your door, that channel, TLC, they have My 600 Pound Life. If TLC knocks on your door, you fucked up somewhere. All right? If TLC is coming to knocking, your heart is either your heart's about to explode. If TLC knocks on your door, your heart is about to explode, or you might want to start cleaning your place. Okay? You're either going to be on Hoarders or 600 Pound Life. Or you're a family of little people that has a pumpkin farm. For some reason, they put that on there as well. Okay? Just sprinkle a little bit of everything. Something for everyone on TLC. It's so crazy. That's who gets on TV. Murderers, super obese people, and white trash. Okay? Shout out to Adam and Nancy. I know you guys love Lizard Lick Towing. Okay? That nightmare of a show. God. Must be insane being a tow truck driver. Just like, hey, I'm coming to take your car. Dude, fuck that job. Where do we go from here? That has been an eventful 10 minutes. Got some notes here. Oh, yeah, my apartment complex keeps sending me emails, reminder emails that this is a smoke-free community. You know, it's like this huge like essay. Hey, just a reminder here at this apartment complex, we are a smoke-free community. Let's have respect for family, friends, neighbors, and pets, all this bullshit. And it's like, first of all, I know it's not geared just towards me. You know, it's not like a personalized email. It's definitely our building because we have 2 Jamaican guys on the first floor, and you can see them. They're literally on the first floor facing the parking lot. They're just rolling up blunts. You know, enjoy yourself, okay? Rent is high as shit. You might as well be too. All right, so they're chiefing. Second floor above them, you got people from Kentucky or deep Tennessee because it's not your typical accent, dude. They put an emphasis on the oohs. Any U is like ooh. Caught him the other night. They were like, she was like, we took an Uber from Juno Beach all the way down to Cape Coral. And I'm like, oh, that's not Florida. Like, that is, wow. Wow. If I hear you playing the banjo, I'm running. So you got them. They're Chief and Sigs, that white trash they are. And they were the ones from the Christmas episode that they were fighting. If you heard that one, they were saying one of the sisters started brawling with the other one. She's like, that's why I joined the military and you went to prison, bitch. And then I heard furniture moving around. So yeah, they're Chief and Sigs. You got the other neighbors. I mean, everyone's blowing blunts or cigars or whatever. So I'm like, hey, this isn't a smoke-free community. If everyone is smoking, your little sign at the gate ain't doing shit. Oh, this is a reminder. This is a smoke-free community. Hey, tell that to the Pakistani at the pool with the hookah. He obviously can't read English. Is it that, or is it not a smoke-free community? You know, let the Persian do his Persian stuff. All right, it's funny. Like every it's so stereotypical. It's like Southern trash, cigarettes. Jamaican dudes, huge blunts. And then like you got the friggin' Middle Easterns with the hookah, bro. It's the best. It's so funny. So I'm like, this isn't a smoke-free community. All right, that's like saying Chicago is a gun-free community. The city of Chicago is a gun-free zone. What? What? I couldn't hear you. My ears are ringing from the AK-47 down the street. This is a gun-free city. It's called Chirac. How'd you get that name? Oh, I don't know. We have the best hummus. Get the fuck out of here. I don't even know if that's from over there. Forgive me for being ignorant. I love hummus. Okay? Anyway. But yeah. Dude, I told him, I go, if you send me another email about this being a smoke-free community, you will never rent another building. No, the tour, they show everyone the place. I'm like right by the lake and the pool, and they got the volleyball court in the back. And, they bring like all the families like, this is the pool house that's never open that you can, they lie to them. Oh, you can fucking, stay in here. They go, this is the pool that's never cleaned, but we cleaned it right before you got here. This is the volleyball court that we sweeped up right before you got here. We got the dog shit out of it just in time. Here's the lake that everybody uses that doesn't live here. I'm like, if you send me another email, I will just start yelling off my balcony, don't make the same mistake I did. I'll just start saying, they got bed bugs, rats. There's a homeless guy that lives in the pool. I'll just start yelling shit off the balcony. I go, don't send me another email. This is a smoke-free community. Speaking of free, now, I don't know if you heard, Mr. Potato Head, the Toy Story toy, I had one as a child, is now just Potato Head. They dropped the Mr. He's now a gender-neutral potato. Okay? He's already a person of color. Good thing they got that out of the way. Nice little mocha brown. Gender-neutral. We dropped the Mr. I mean, they still have Mrs. Potato. The whole thing doesn't make sense. That's where we're at, where that's the news. Hasbro has dropped Mr. from Mr. Potato Head. That goes viral. I don't even know why I try. So anyway, we got the gender-neutral Potato Head. Now he's free to go down on other potatoes. I hope he comes with a Molotov and like purple hair dye. So anyway, the rest of the show will be me auctioning off my Mr. Potato Head, still in the box, brand new condition, still has the price tag, and I have the receipt on it. So we'll start the bidding at $10K. 10K, can I get a 10K? 10,000, 10,000, sir. Can I get 11,000? No, I don't have a Mr. Potato Head in the box, but that's what's weirder. The guy that has his Mr. Potato Head still in the box, mint condition on eBay right now, or the guy that's excited that Mr. Potato Head is gender neutral. I don't know which one is worse. Mr. Potato. That'll probably be the title of the episode. Potatoes blowing. That sucks. But yeah, man, I got some messages. How did I get into like ADT door to door? Like what makes you do that? I kind of brought it up last episode about Z. I was telling you guys that. Rest in peace. I don't know if he survived prison. He's kind of didn't really have any upper body strength, it seemed. He's probably making someone's bed right now as we speak. Make my bed, motherfucker. Hold my pockets. Remember that? What was that? Scared Straight. If you haven't seen those, dude, go back. They're making these kids. He's like, peel my orange. This kid's like, I'm trying. He couldn't get his nail in the peel. God, dude, TV used to be so much better. The 90s was a shit. I know I was born in 93. People are like, you're not really a 90s kid. You were born in 93. Hey, what year is that? What was that? 93? Yeah, 90s kid. Okay? I was 3 years old when Biggie got shot. It was a sad day at daycare. Fuck were we talking about? Oh, how'd I get in the door-to-door industry? So I was at, everything's coming full circle this episode. I was at SCF, the community college. I did about 8 weeks there before I dropped out to go sell home security systems door-to-door. Okay, this is where I'm at in life. 18 years old, 2012. So do the math. I was leaving class just going, man, what the fuck am I doing here? The kid behind me has a scorpion tattoo on his neck. You know, we're in the same class. Obviously, none of us are going to be, you know, hedge fund managers. Okay. So I should just, if I drop out, I still have a better chance than this guy. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I'm walking to the parking lot. I run into my old buddy, Will, and he was wearing a Gucci t-shirt. Okay. So tight. I'm like, dude, I'm like, that thing gets any tighter, you're going to get breast cancer, dude. Like, his nipples were poking through it, no homo. Gucci t-shirt, you know, a stupid red and green stripe, $200 for some cotton. He had the new Yeezys on. He had a Gucci belt and True Religion jeans, which was like, you know, I was never into them, but, you know, it was a symbol of, oh, this guy figured something out. This moron that sat next to me in English class every year in high school going, dude, I'm going to max out today, bro. I did like 210 yesterday, bro. I'm going for 225 today. That was what I heard every day. Okay. So this guy, you know, he's got about $2,000 worth of apparel on. And I go, hey man, what have you been up to, man? I haven't seen you. Like, what are you doing? Basically just trying to figure, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You selling coke? Like, let me in on this shit. That's where I'm at. So he goes, no, man, he has a list. He goes, no, man, I'm selling, that was even worse. Cause I'm like, oh, you're obviously on roids. You sound like Doug from 50 First Dates. It's not steroids, it's the protein fake. And I'm like, obviously this guy is selling drugs, you know, like, whoa, you know, maybe I could do it part-time, you know? So he goes, I'm selling ADT home security door to door. And I go, say no more. I'm like, hook me up with this job. You know, it sounds good. He's like, yeah, man, you have the potential to, it's like uncapped earnings. You know, he's like, you make $500 a deal. He's like, if you do one a day, he's like, you know, you're making six figures. So immediately I'm like, fuck community college. Like, I'm done. You know, I'm going to go, if this moron can figure it out, I can figure it out. You know, so I went home and I just never went back to school. I ended up just going to Tampa. I was saying I was going to college. And then I remember I told my dad, he's like, you dropped out of college? He's like, you moron. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going back. It's not for me. I'm like, I'm going to sell alarms. I remember I went every day to go knock doors 2 weeks, didn't sell shit. And my dad's like, you're an idiot, you know, like, as he should be. You know, this isn't like, fuck you, Dad, I'm going to be successful. It was like, yeah, oh, maybe I am a moron. And so I was telling him, like, you know, I'm trying to sell him on it. I'm like, you know, it's like all I got to do is convince people, you know, it's a good deal. You know, we're protecting the home. It's a peace of mind. He's like, yeah, I know how an alarm works. He's like, but you ain't selling them. So I end up going to these meetings, and like after like 10 days, I go, hey, where's Will? You know, the guy that got me into this shit, who referred me. They go, oh, we fired him. I go, what? They go, yeah, he never sold anything. I go, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah. So this other guy here, Matt, Will also recruited him. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, all that shit that he wears is fake. And I'm like, fuck, dude. So I'm sitting in Tampa with a stupid ADT shirt on going, damn, I really fucked up, you know? Now I'm like door-to-door sales. But I figured it out, man. I ended up making some really good money weekly. I talked about that last episode. If you haven't, check it out. Some wild stuff in that industry. So yeah, I ended up knocking doors. I started doing this door-to-door thing. And well, man, we'll take it back even further. I wanted to do a half hour, just kind of take you guys back to kind of the origins. You know, people ask me all the time, like, oh, how'd you get into comedy? And it's like, well, I would say you don't really get into it. Well, some people do. Some people get into it that shouldn't be into it. But there's I don't know. It's always like a long. There's never like. The short answer is like shit didn't go well. You know, this wasn't. You know, people think comedy like, oh, is that your dream from the start? It's like, no, my original goal. If you really want to know my original goal, it was lead guitarist in any band. Okay, that didn't work out because when you never learn how to play the guitar, yeah, it's kind of fucking hard to be lead guitar. All right, so I was lead air guitar. I think I talked about that in an earlier episode as well. I just don't want to like repeat old stuff, you know, for the people that are like really fucking with the show. Like, hey man, fucking said that episode 3. You know, I'm not listening to repeat shit. It's like, all right, guy, settle down. Free episode. I don't even have ads. But no, I wanted to be in Jackass, dude. I'm like, oh, I can get paid millions of dollars to shoot my friends in the nuts with a paintball gun. Like, yeah, let's do that. You know, Office, no. Sliding down a half pipe and racking my nuts on a rail, yes. Yeah, tell that to your teacher. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be on Jackass. They go, okay. Immediately, they're like, okay. I found the kid I'm not going to like the rest of the year. So, yeah, man, I wanted to take it way back. So I moved to Florida. Just cut to there. I grew up in like Alexandria, Virginia. I talked about that. Grew up around the DC Sniper. That was exciting. So yeah, moved to Florida when I was in, I think, 2004. So I was in 4th grade. It's funny. Every year was like, 5th grade or 2005, 5th grade, 2006, 6th grade, 2007, 7th grade. You get it. And so yeah, 04. And I moved to Florida, dude, and it was just such a culture shock, you know, because it's like our field trips would be to the White House and like all the crazy museums that people from other countries fly across the world to see, paintings. You know, you take it for granted. You know, kick the camera. Anyway, don't want to see that's the whole studio isn't finished. I have so many holes in this wall just because I ripped all the shelves out. It's like a walk-in closet. So it's like what you see on camera is beautiful. Off camera, you're like, what the fuck? So yeah, I moved to Florida, man, and it was just like, I'm like, fuck, dude, like everyone's wearing camo. It was just so different. And it was just wild, man. And like none of the, like, it looks so different now, Bradenton, Florida. It was like just cows for miles and everything just smelled like cow shit. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this better be a good job, Dad. You know, like you brought us down here to this literal shit. And, but yeah, no, it was definitely a culture shock. And, it was just kind of like it was just real. And that's all I can say is this was different, you know, and I couldn't really like right away, I couldn't really fit in because I'm like, I don't fucking like, this is so different, dude. These kids are talking about, one kid in my class, this kid Cameron, they were like, hey, you know, go around the room and tell us what you do for fun. He goes, I like hooding. I like going hooding. And the teacher's like, oh yeah, that's fun. And then, you know, I raised my hand like, hey, what the fuck is hooding? Can someone let me in on this before, you know, it just sounds insane. Hoodin'. If someone goes, I like hoodin', to me that sounds like you like putting on a Klan hood. I like hoodin'. Okay, check please. Can I drop out now in the 4th grade? Is that possible? So he goes, I like hoodin', and he did a whole project on it. It's where you take the hood of an old car or truck off, tie a rope around the hinge, and get pulled behind through the mud in a 4-wheeler. That's hooding. Where you literally ride on the hood of a car. Okay? Sounds fucking awesome now. You know, like, hey, let's go like party in the wood. Like now I'm all about that redneck shit, dude. But at first I'm like, get me the fuck away from these kids, dude. I was just like a skateboarder in Washington, D.C. You know, we'd be like, oh, Mom, can you drop me off at the skate park? Like, you know, we were those kids trying to get in the magazines, doing a kickflip down some steps back when you had health insurance. And shout out brain freeze. I was just thinking, I'm like, damn, dude, this is like probably my favorite episode so far, just because I'm feeling it now, dude. I had like a breakthrough over the weekend, man. Just broke down and thought about everything that I've been through, and just kind of how cool it is that everybody, you know, you do the show, you know, the first few episodes, dude, it was like 2-3 listeners, and I'm like, oh, fuck, you know. But then I'm like, well, I'm going to show up for these 3 people, and now, man, it's like really grown. And, dude, shout out to everyone who's been sharing the sketches. I put out a new Florida Man video earlier this week, a little stand-up clip, nothing major, just a tiny little like, hey, just a reminder, I do stand-up. Just some struggle clip. But, yeah, thanks for everyone who's been liking and sharing, man. I really appreciate. I'm blown away by, I have like old friends from Virginia that are like, hey, man, love the show. I'm like, damn, I haven't talked to you in like 20 years. So yeah, dude, I'm in Florida, and right around, you know, I just couldn't really like figure the people out, dude. And then 2005, 2006, I was in middle school. I remember this, it was Easter Sunday. We were downstairs, you know, me and the family were downstairs, and my mom said she had like a headache the night before, and we didn't think anything of it, you know. We're like, oh, just drink some water, you know. And my dad was like, hey, you know, it's 10 a.m., you know, like, go wake your mom up, like she's missing, you know, the festivities or whatever. He didn't say that. That was my corniness. If my dad ever said that, I'd be like, I'm fucking done. Oh, she's missing the festivities. Like, where's your paintbrush? Fucking NYU student. So yeah, I went to go check on my mom, and I'm like, hey, Mom, like, I was shaking her. I said, Mom, you know, come downstairs, like, you all right? And she wasn't moving, you know. She was breathing, but she wasn't moving. And then I lifted her arm, and I let go of it, and it fell back down to the bed. And then my heart sank, because I'm like, oh man, something's real bad. And then I don't know why, dude, but I lifted her eyelid, and her eye like had rolled back into her head. And dude, as a kid, man, seeing that shit, that like right then I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like any little like, oh, I care about that just shattered. And then I just remember yelling down. I was like, Dad. I was like, Mom's not moving. And he ran upstairs, and he was like, call 911 right now. He's like, get an ambulance here. And I remember he like picked her up under her shoulders and like sat her up, and then she just like flopped back down again, man. And I remember I was just fumbling with the phone. This is back when like the phones were, what was like a corded phone. And I remember I was like just shaking, and I'm like, send an ambulance right now. I gave him the address, and I just remember being downstairs on the couch, and the ambulance was like wheeling her down the stairs in the stretcher, and they're like, she's still breathing, she's gonna be fine. You know, they're like, don't worry. You know, my sisters were way too young to even like grasp what was going on, and they just knew it wasn't good. You know, didn't take a genius to figure that out. But they were dragging her out the door. Not dragging her. That'd be fucking the worst paramedics. But they're wheeling her out the door, and I just remember my dad's like, I gotta go to the hospital. He's like, you stay here with your sisters. And I just had no idea. You know, no one did what was going on. And I just remember I wanted to go see her, and my dad was like, he kept saying, you don't want to see her like that, because she was all tubed up. She was in a coma. She had like the nose tubes, I don't even know, man, like IVs and stuff. And then, of course, like my grandma is, my grandma is one of those people that always has to say, well, oh, I'm a nurse, I know everything. I'm like, Grandma, you were a nurse back in the 40s, okay? You were fucking prescribing cigarettes. Let's sit down, okay? Let's let the 2004 doctors do their thing. 2005. They have updated. At least their textbooks don't say cigarettes are good. So I eventually got to go down to the hospital, man. She was Lakewood Ranch Medical Facility, room 13. And I just remember walking in. She was in the ICU unit, and they just didn't know, man. They're like, she's in a coma, something with her brain. They're like, we don't know. And she was visiting her friend that was in the hospital at the time back up in Washington, D.C. when she flew back and said I didn't have a headache. So they were saying maybe she picked up some weird thing in the hospital there, or on the flight home. Who the fuck knows? This is what made me a hypochondriac. One of my friends cracked the code. He goes, bro, I figured out why you have weird tendencies. He's like, because every time you went to go visit your mom, they made you wear a mask, like a hazmat hat, like an apron and gloves and like things for your, like little boots over your shoes, like plastic boots. So you just didn't bring anything in or take anything out, And I'm like, you're right, dude. Like, that's definitely why I don't fuck with, like, chemicals. Like, you could rob me with a Windex bottle, bro. Like, I fucking, I don't want any weird, basically, I don't want anything weird like that getting near me. But, yeah, man, it was rough, dude. She was in a coma probably for, like, 96 days. And just a lot of battling between the families, man. My dad still had to work, obviously. I missed out like on summers, watching my sisters. And it was just rough, dude. It's rough. It was rough to look at the doctor and ask him, is my mom going to live? And he look at you straight in the face and go, I don't know, kid. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know? Fucking went to school for 7 years and you don't know? God, I'm going to be a fucking doctor. Give me your Porsche, you piece of shit. I don't fucking know anything. So it just made me, it was just rough, man. The family's fighting because, everyone thought they knew what was best. Like, they fucking went through this before. Everyone was like, oh, Cheryl would have wanted this. My mom's name. She would have wanted that. I remember my dad wanted to go on vacation, after like day 60, he's like, she would have wanted us to, keep living our lives. And he's like, when she wakes up, if she wakes up while we're gone, we'll take the first flight back, and they were like, oh, you're a piece of shit. And he's like, what the fuck am I, what is all of us driving through? Cause then she got moved to Gainesville, which was 3 hours away at the time. So every Sunday we drive up there and wait in the waiting room. I brought the PlayStation, played with the other kids whose parents were in the hospital, fucking smoked these kids in FIFA, bro. I'm like, yeah, I'm from out of town, bro. I'm about to body you kids. But yeah, I'm trying to make this funny, man, because it's fucking sad. But yeah, dude. So I just remember visiting her and they were like thinking he was like, oh, my dad was just like a demon for like suggesting that we do what my mom would have wanted. Like, my mom wouldn't want us to just sit by her holding her hand. Like, that's not, at one point that's not going to help. So yeah, it was just rough, man. And I just remembered like thinking, why is this happening to me? You know, why, what did, I started thinking it was like my fault. Like that's how bad it got. Cause you're just like, what? You start questioning like the universe and God, like, hey, I go to, I was like, hey, I go to church. Like, why, why are you doing this to me kind of thing? Not, I don't know, man. It was just rough, man. But it gave me this, like, this huge chip on my shoulder and this huge, like, I was getting in fights at school and I just didn't give a fuck anymore, dude. Like, I would say whatever to anyone. Like if anyone even said something like, oh, like, just give like I don't know, like, oh, your collar is fucking, like, oh, you got a bacon collar on your t-shirt, and it's like wrinkled. I'd be like, man, that's why your fucking stepdad hits you. Cause you're like, I would just go in on some kids, take their soul, and I guess that's where the comedy came from, man, originally. But, yeah, that was just a rough time, man. And, my parents ended up getting divorced like 2 years later. Just so much fighting in between families, like it's supposed to be the opposite. Like supposed to come together during a time of crisis, not tear each other apart. But, that's another lesson I learned is your family is just some people that you were born into. People put so much value on family, and I think that's great. But at the same time, you have to realize a lot of these motherfuckers aren't for you. They are, some of them aren't even fun to have at Thanksgiving, but it's like, oh, cool. We had a nice barbecue dinner at the reunion or whatever. But after that, man, a lot of these people don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I have friends that are way more family than even some of my immediate family. But yeah, my parents ended up getting divorced, man. That was just, they didn't know how to do that either, dude. It was always like, tell your mom this, my mom's like, tell your dad he owes me money. My grandma had like the unlimited funds because she's a gold digger. She, married rich. I never saw any of it. I'm probably not even in the will after some of the arguments we had. But, yeah, dude. So the parents got divorced. I remember I had a duffel bag. I would bring a duffel bag every other day to school with clothes and my Xbox because I would just be I would take the bus to my mom's and then the next day I'd take the bus to my dad's. So just be back and forth. And it was just shitty, man. I fucking hated high school. I hated middle school. I always just wanted to get out. I never even really dated anyone in high school. I mean, I had a few like girlfriends or girls that I'd hang out with and stuff and go out. But it was just kind of like, dude, everyone was having kids and I'm like, I can't get fucking stuck here. I can't, like, I just have to get out. Like my buddy Alberto, it was just like Applebee's and, after 10 and then I'd go to the mall with Danny and we'd like walk around and go to the new, see, what's the new shoe drop and just drive back. There's just absolutely nothing to do, man. And I had friends get killed, shot at gas stations, drunk driver hit them at a red light, just small town bullshit. And, yeah, man, I just knew I had to get the fuck out of there. It was just such a weird energy, especially after going through all that stuff, with the divorce and my mom being sick. And, yeah, dude, I just remember wanting to get out. And I ended up going to Orlando with Chip. We started a church there, believe it or not. I was all over the place, man. But I'm going to leave it right there, dude, because this is, I just don't want to do an hour. I know the show isn't I don't know. The show, this was a good episode. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing the videos. Means a lot. Thumbs up, all that stuff. Everyone who's left a review, man, it's been such a huge help, dude. I feel like I have like, I'm doing the show now for you guys, man. Cause I hear people, I'll get a message, hey man, we listened to your show, coming back from this, or we listened to your show on a road trip. And it's like, man, that's just so cool that you would pick to listen to this. And, I'm going to get a little deeper into what made me get into the comedy thing and just kind of who I am. Cause it's a lot of just, we can do the ha ha and hee thing all day, but, I just want to provide you some substance of, if I say something that you don't like or something that you think is crossing the line or whatever, just know where I'm coming from. And we'll get into some more, I guess, part 2 of the story here, man. But, man, appreciate you guys listening. Sean Madden Comedy on Instagram. If you're watching the YouTube and you're on Facebook, I'm going to try and get a page back on there. I just hate Facebook so much. And, yeah, dude, that was I know it's episode 39. Last episode I said, oh, thanks for listening to episode 37. My dumbass is just saying the previous episode number. But yeah, man, I'm going to go. Love you guys. Peace.